Welcome to Addis Ababa for the 10th edition of Africa's biggest mass participation road race. For 35,000 runners, the Great Ethiopian Run is an annual celebration of a country's love affair with the sport. The atmosphere is unmatched anywhere in the world. This year sees a double celebration after national hero and marathon world record holder Haile Selassie announced his temporary retirement was over. It all tees up a memorable day, so let's join our commentator, Stuart Story.
Well, thank you, Rob. Amongst that 35,000, we've got 250 foreign competitors from Britain, Norway, Australia, United States, and 100 Irish, we understand. And, of course, the elite this time, there's someone that's called a false start, and he'll clearly be dragged back to the start. There he goes. Very anxious to get underway, these youngsters, because the future of Ethiopian running will probably come from this mass. And it really is quite a spectacle. This is the 10th year, of course. Now, in the main stadium, the elite are running. This is the first time this has been done, incidentally. And we shall see. It's actually been done, we're told, so that we can see the new Gotera overpass in the city, which, of course, now exists and will be very welcome to those who seek to push forward the development in this area. And one shoelace undone for one young lady. She'll have a little bit of catching up to do very steadily, but this is stringing out very, very quickly indeed. There are one or two talented up-and-coming athletes in this field. There certainly are. Atura, Afi Work, and certainly I've seen them on the international circuit this season, particularly Atura. Watched her in the Stockholm 5,000 metres in the Diamond League, so she's quite talented. 4.53, Shultu Tafa in the tall figure leading. 3.67, incidentally, that's Ayalu. Ayalu. And the men, incidentally, in very good form indeed. Of course, this race has been run before with Kenenisa Bekele getting third place twice. Shahini won it in 2003. Kabedi, the marathon runner, in 2007. There's so much to celebrate here. The women, well, this is a much younger field. I've seen Utura before. She was fourth in the 5,000 metres in Stockholm. I've seen her. The leader, that looks like Shultu Tafa, wearing 4.53. Just picking out one or two of the numbers there. 3.67, Ayalu is there as well. Pretty well strung out in the early stages of this race, aren't they? 3.36, that's Afi Work. I've seen her in the World Half Marathon in 14th this year, incidentally. Wearing 3.36 in the front, just on the left in the white top. I can see 3.67 in there. Ayalu, Ayalu, tall figure, the red top. She should feature in this race, I would think. But let's have a look back at the men in the stadium as well, about to get underway. Remember, I've mentioned some of the big names who've featured in the past. And we've got one former winner in here. This was Shasa, won this race in 2008. Coached by Gitane Tasemi, and of course we've got another athlete coached by him as well. I'll bring you up to date on that if he features. But the big field, and this is where the future will emerge from. It's very, very quick start indeed. You can see them getting underway very, very fast, and that's Asmiral Bekele who's taken them out very, very quickly indeed. He's a 60-minute half marathon man. He was 22nd in the world cross country, incidentally, in Bydgoszcz, so he's in very, very good form indeed. And he's taken it on and setting a very, very quick pace for the rest of this field to follow. It really has. And then it'll settle down. There'll always be one or two who will go out in front who are not so well known. The young fellow who's taken it over in the front has no number whatsoever. Look at this, there are one or two of them trying to get their names to the fore. Well, let's go back now and see what's happening in Meskel Square. Look at that, 35,000, and all of a sudden they're away. A little bit of a false start, I thought, on the left side, but nevertheless, it's a very, very big opening for this mass to get underway. Totally and utterly uninhibited. One or two of the soldiers on duty here hiding behind those cars to get out of the way as the masses come past them. It's quite amusing to see that. But this is where some of the future of Ethiopian running will emerge. It really will. We've had the big names, I've mentioned them. Haile Gebrselassie, well, needs no further introduction from me. Multi world record holder. I know that Lorna Kiplagat in the background has come from Kenya to join him. It's good to see her here. Wonderful cross-country and road performances behind her name. But back now, the women at 3,000 metres, 336, Afiwork has really taken it on. I mentioned her, she was 14th in the half marathon this year. She was also 18th in the World Cross Country, which was over 8 kilometres, wearing 336. 348 is Suliel Utura. I mentioned her early on. She's only been running seriously for 6 months before she got 4th place in the World Cross Country, and that tells you that, you know, the future does emerge from situations such as this. 367, Hiwot Ayelu in that lead, the tall figure in the red alongside Utura. So it's beginning to really break up this race now, despite the fact that we've got, there's Antene wearing 347 there. She's 18 years old, 4th in the World Youth 3,000 metres last season, up in that leading group. She's wearing 347. And I saw her in a 5,000 metres in Stockholm as well. She ran quite well. But Ayelu has certainly taken it on, deep in concentration. 348, that's Utura in 2nd place. And Kiros, incidentally, in 3rd now, wearing 303. She was 3rd in this race in 2005, was Kiros, incidentally. 4th in the African Championships a couple of seasons or so ago in the 10,000 metres. So you've got a sprinkling of half marathon, 10,000 metre runners here. And all of a sudden there's a group of about 8 or 9, probably 8, who've broken away from the rest of this field. Well, they're Hill now sorting out the men as well, because it's quite testing, it's rhythm sapping, although they did say that they've redesigned the course in a way to make it flatter, although approaching 2,000 metres, 2 kilometres now, to see who is up in that leading group. Number 83, Alemiru, is there. He's the athlete that was coached by Tesma, Katene Tesma. I mentioned earlier that Bekele had been coached. He was 7th last year. Well, this fella is attempting to get away from the field, but I'm not sure whether he will. It is Alemiru, and he is a class act. He's only 20. No real form over 10,000 metres this year, but he's set on a good lead now. And this, I think, is going to be a good race once it gets underway. Still early days, though. Well, no change in the leader thus far. Epiwork has really taken this on. And in close proximity behind her is Ayelu in the red and the tall one on the right of the second places. And then 348, that is Utura, who won the first 5,000 metres race staged in Addis Ababa earlier on in the year on the 6th of March. So she's really came to the fore then. She's got a best of, 32.23 over 10 kilometres on the road. Well, certainly the men on a downhill part of the course here. And this is Alemiru. He's only 20. And remember, I said he's coached by Tesema, the same coach as Deshasa, who won in 2008. And this is a big, big lead, in fact. Behind him is Asmirab Bekele. Just looking behind him. There are 1 or 2 who might well feature in this, but at this stage, this big break on early on in this race, there really is. The pace, well, it's not dramatically quick, I have to say. And look at this, they're catching him now, led by Bekele. He's a 60-minute half marathon man, as I said. Incidentally, Bekele, wearing 22 there, is prepared for this week over the last 7 weeks after he won a 30-kilometre race in Nazareth. I'm told he was injured last year and didn't do particularly well, but he's come up right alongside now Alemiru, who looked as though he'd made a significant break, but they've all closed him down now. And at the end of it, really, we're in a situation where there are now back about 8 men in contention in this race. But it is the early days, and anything can happen, I can tell you, from experience in the past. They sit back and wait now, but the 2 leaders are pretty well known internationally. Well, let's just have a little look and see what's happening with the women now. No change really, but you've got a group of what, 3, 4, 5, 7 athletes now who've got away from the main bulk of the field. And yeah, there's a little bit of a gap opening up now with this, and it looks to me as though Atura has taken it on for the moment. 3:48, it is her. 5th in the African Championships over 5,000 metres this season. Went to the Diamond League meet in Stockholm. Was 4th in that. 14:56 her time for 5,000 metres, and all of a sudden it's just slowed down just a little bit to let them come back in. And Afiwork, with the white top on the left, who was leading for some considerable time, has just allowed the rest to take over for the moment. Approaching 5,000 metres, 5 kilometres, which is the halfway mark, and just gently drifting down this undulation. The course itself is relatively flat. Having said what I've said about the slight undulations here, one would expect a fast time, but the pace is not terrifically fast at the moment.